Employees who experience workplace burnout have a 57% increase of workplace absence.
Set your boundaries in place, and if your employer and your boss does respect the work that you do and respects you, then they will abide to them. Hi, and welcome back to the Mindset and Marketing Podcast. I am your co-host for today, Matthew Toman, and I'm joined with
Sharon Kirkpatrick.
So Sharon's back with us, as you can see. Welcome back.
Thanks. I think I just kicked something there out of excitement.
And no, I actually missed you last week.
Did you? Well, I listened to the podcast and it was brilliant with Aisling and you.
Oh, did you enjoy it? I didn't actually miss you on the podcast last week because Aisling was there, but I missed you terribly in work. I missed you. I did miss you catching up with you on the podcast, of course, but I actually missed you. I was talking about in work. So here on the Mindset and Marketing Podcast, our commitment to you is to give you jargon-free information around everything mindset and everything marketing, two of the most important things that I think you need to master in your life to achieve everything that you set out to. So how was skiing? I'm really glad to see you back because do you know the way you always have that fear of oh shit, what if something happened?
Which is highly likely considering I have zero skiing capabilities.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. We had so much fun. I will be honest, because it was my first time skiing, I had mixed reviews at the start. I was like, what the fuck is this? Because I had to get up every day at 8 a.m. and go to class. You know, it was like being back in school. I was devastated, and there was a group of 9 of us there, and most of them had skied before, so there was only a couple of us that had to get up and do the lessons, and everyone else could have a wee lie-in and then just go skiing whenever they wanted, you know. So there's me setting the alarm on holiday at 8:45 to go to school. And
oh my god, that's funny.
And the first couple of days was hard work, because you know yourself, when you're having to listen and learn. And it's difficult enough, especially when you're a bit older and you have a bit of fear. Yeah. It was hard. But then as it went on and I mastered, I got a bit of the technique down, it became a lot more fun, you know?
Yeah. We actually had to go skiing. Me, Jonathan and Rachel went skiing whenever we were younger. We got taught how to ski at the ski club. Rachel was actually brilliant. She was a flyer, so was Jonathan. They actually used to compete. I didn't like it. I had a bit of the fear. And then whenever I went skiing, me and Remo, we were traveling around New Zealand and we went to Queenstown, one of my most favourite places on the planet. You would love it because there's a wee pub at every corner and a band playing in it, and it's so good. And I skied on that, and it's not for me. It's too hard work. I can't be bothered.
Do you know this après ski kind of vibe? That's grand, right, at the bottom of the slopes, but obviously a lot of the cool places are in the middle or the top of the slopes, and I'm like, well, I can't go and get wasted and try and ski down these bloody things. So I was like, no.
I can't believe they do that. Yeah.
I know
So did the rest of the guys do that? Did they go and?
No, our group was quite sensible. We had drinks we had 1 or 2 beers through the day, you know, but that was it. We weren't crazy cats, but it was real funny because on the way over, because it was a long enough day travelling over, because we went down to Dublin, which is 2-hour drive, and then got on the plane for 2 hours. And then when we got off, it was basically another 3 hours till we got to the place, because there was a bit of a pit stop. So can you imagine? It's now about 9 o'clock at night, get on this bus, and we're sharing it with everyone. There was a group of a couple of families there. There was us, and then there was the crowd at the back who were from Dublin, early 20s, about 20 of them, and they went nuts. They brought their own speaker on the bus and started playing all this mad music, and we were going, what the heck? Back in the day, okay, but not now, we can't be bothered. And standing up, vaping and all, partying, and the rep in the bus was like, right guys, no speakers on the bus. And then 15 minutes later he said, if you could just turn the speaker down. So he wasn't even planning on taking it off them. So he told us we had to wait for 1 hour and 10 minutes before we get a stop. All of us were fuming by the party on the back, we were raging, and we just we just couldn't wait to stop because we were like, is he actually serious allowing this to happen? Like, but the worst thing was, right, they were actually playing music that we all loved. You know, so we were like...
You should have just danced and had
Matthew,
a vape.
you couldn't.
You get involved.
Like, you could... It was a nightclub. It was a nightclub on the bus. And we were like, oh... And then it just made you realise how old you are, you know? So whenever we got off at the halfway stop, then the manager came on and took the speaker off them. And then we could finally sit and relax.
We were... That's the thing. The person on the bus, I wouldn't... it's not with your job to go down and try and wrestle that off 20 people.
It is his
drunk.
job.
Do you know what I mean?
He's a rep.
No, but it's like he could get beat up or something. I wouldn't. I would have done the same. I would have said, hey, this is above my pay grade. Get a manager down here to deal with these guys. Well, you know, he's just meant to bring you to your next destination. He's not there to be a security guard.
No, it's his job to keep. All he had to do was take the speaker off him. Because see, the second part of the journey, they were dead on. Like, who lets someone play a speaker on a bus? Nobody. But here, so then fast forward a few days later, and I'm at the pub at the end of the night, and I see the wee bus rep, and he comes over to me and he's like, well, what about you? And I'm like, yeah, all good, how's you? And he goes, listen, sorry I had to take that speaker off you. Them other ones were complaining. And I was like, I was the one that was complaining.
Oh, that is funny. That's actually very funny.
But it was good crack. How did you get on?
Great.
What did you get up to?
What did I get on? Well, I was obviously working with the team in Bankhouse. So I was logged back into Slack. Checking on all the messages because I can very luckily, fortunately, I'm very grateful that I can turn off the notifications to Slack and get on with my life, I suppose. So I was back very much in Slack, working through everything. There was only one mishap in the whole week and it wasn't my fault. So I'm very proud of that. And then other than that, life is good. Had a bit of personal situation to deal with, but it's all good now. And then I was back into my comedy class.
Still going strong.
I've got my 4th week over me. I've only 2 more weeks and then we've got our showcase on St. Paddy's Day, the 17th of March.
Gag. Very good.
I know. So I was there. So you haven't seen me for 2 comedy classes. So the last week, it was really good. The week before last, our teacher changed because one of our teachers was gone and someone stepped in for him. So it completely threw all of us. And he's the one that wrote the curriculum. It's his school. So nobody really done the homework that they were meant to. They were all talking about, I did do the homework, but it wasn't funny. It was really boring actually. And he said, no, I said, there's no laughs. But anyway, order had restored yesterday. I was back and I ended up having to get up and do like a 5-minute stand-up piece, which did get a lot of laughs. I talked about being Irish and starting drinking when you're 13.
You should have saved that for Paddy's Day. That content.
Well, no, we're doing all these. So then we can then talk about, there'll be accumulation of these stories on our actual showcase. But that's actually a good idea. I might do that. I might actually incorporate some Paddy's Day into it. I will actually. Thank you for saying that.
What about me and you going back to school for frick's sake? Me ski school, you comedy school.
I know. Do you want to know what? I'm pushed so far outside my comfort zone. It's not normal.
No.
It's absolutely insane. It's like standing up in front of people and having to make them laugh. It's like I'm not really. I'm actually getting more into like the formula of it, like telling the story and building it up, and then the beats, because I'm just telling them real stuff that actually happened at the minute. Yeah, which seems to be going down okay.
Because your life is so nuts.
They asked me after. They were like, "Is any of that story true?" And I was like,
"All of it."
all of it's true actually, which was funny. I talked about like just starting drinking at 13, then turning 40, and like having to just detach myself from all the friends I'd built up drinking. Not because there's anything wrong with it, just because there was so bloody many of them. I couldn't keep up anymore. So it was funny. But yeah, no, it was good. The week went brilliant. Still out in LA, loving life.
Good.
Really, really good business this week as well. Brilliant things happened actually in business, so I'm really, really happy. And yeah, new people starting to join the team. It's been a busy week. Nice.
I know I'm just getting back into it now. So this is my first day back, so I'm playing catch up,
Yeah. I turned my notifications off last night of Slack at like midnight.
Yeah, well, I actually got a message from Rachel saying, "Hey, Matthew says you're back. Where's the link to the podcast?" And I'm like, that should have been sent to you like 3 days ago.
I did send it, but I don't know why they've only got one reel. I thought there was two. Because I said to Daniel, "Can you send Rachel the second reel?" I don't know where the hell it is.
I'm just getting all.
So I don't know.
Just getting all these emails now. It's like, Matthew says you're back. So da 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 da.
I know, it's so good to have you back.
I'll be caught up by
what
Wednesday.
are we talking about today?
The importance of having a break.
Okay.
Now.
That is actually.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
It is important to have a break.
And that's the podcast done.
It's over. Take a break. Everybody switch off.
Okay, so I'll give.
No, you need to.
I'll give you some stats to start with, right? You know the way I love a stat. Did you do stats last week? You didn't? Sure you didn't? I listened.
Do you want to know what? I was trying to get through how many. I'm trying to work out the advertising spend that we got. How much money we made on advertising. Free advertisement through the sign. But oh my God, just a quick recap on that sign. It's down. Everybody should be happy it's down now. But oh my God, you want to hear the messages? We've been reported like advertisement standards for like so many times. And we've also had like we didn't break any laws, you know what I mean? We did get a what did we get? A Dublin City Council planning permission letter as well, dealing with a lot of stuff. But
so no time for stuff.
It's generated like tens of thousands in revenue, literally tens of thousands in revenue. And so we don't know how much, and that's still ongoing, you know. But there is a new sign going up in the next week or so, but it's not going to be so offensive.
I don't even know how it was offensive,
Sorry.
to be honest, because I mean, because you used the word vagina, like, how's that offensive?
Yeah, there's people have. You want to hear some of the messages that people have came through? I don't even know if I can say it on the. Well, I can say it. I don't even want to say it on here, but they've been very like. They're saying that we're. I'll go. I don't even want to talk about it on here because I don't know if you can mention some words and stuff. I suppose you can talk about whatever you want on YouTube. But there was people sending some really, really detailed emails saying we were inciting violence towards women. You know, inciting, encouraging men to go out and do all sorts. We're like, what are you talking about? It's about pelvic floor and Kegels, like, you know, click through and dip it. But I mean, so many people in the world, including myself, click on headlines and and decide everything within that moment, you know.
Well, do you not find if you read like half the headlines, you know, that you see on your news feeds, like they're exaggerated to get you to click in, and then the rest of the content's boring as anything,
yeah,
you know.
Exactly, you know. So the other one, to click in, is like you have to sit on a chair and have your pelvic floor tightened and change your life through. Look at the testimonials. Anybody who wants to sort of have a look at testimonials for cosmetic furries, click on their page and have a look at them. But yeah, look, I mean, the sign's down now anyway.
Oh, well.
But there is another one going up. Yeah, so the importance of taking a break, get into the stats.
I actually think you should have just kept going with the controversial headlines. You're creating awareness for things that people don't realise are out there to help them.
Well, there is one that actually may make an appearance coming back about men having erectile dysfunction, because it also helps with that.
Well, I've seen that before on the tubes, you know, when you're in London and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like people doing kind of smart advertising.
They can't handle that in like South Dublin.
Yeah.
Can't handle it. It's a country that is riddled with guilt, and especially around sex and private part words like vagina. Why is it such a bad word? I don't get it. A man actually wrote saying if I had to walk past there with my son, I would be horrified. I'm pretty sure your son's going to know what a vagina is very soon. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
it's your job to teach him.
You get taught it in school.
But like, why don't they have... I was speaking to one of my other friends and she said that from her daughter has been able to, you know, talk. She's always used the proper terms. That's your vagina. That, like, literally with her growing up as a child.
Yeah.
Doesn't want any Irish guilt around her.
Yeah.
You know? I think you do have to be as open communication, because I think some of the things for me in my life that I wasn't allowed to do, I wanted to. or some of the things I didn't know about, I was more inquisitive about. Do you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, you gotta, I don't know. Well, everybody, I don't have any children, parent whatever way you want, but try not to be offended or be horrified at the word vagina up on a poster.
Especially when it's actually there to help people.
Yeah, that's it.
You know?
You know? Yeah.
But anyway, so on to a break then, because people probably need a break after that. You know, all those people complaining. They're going to be like, what do we do now?
Oh, yeah.
They're having a wee break because they've nothing to complain about.
I have took like several breaks over the period of my careers and broke for years.
Well,
I broke for years within a few times.
Well, here's the thing, right? So this is a stat I was going to read earlier, so I have to look at it to get it right. Findings with numerous reports collated by the APA showing employees who experience workplace burnout have a 57% increase of workplace absence. So bad for the employer. But would you hear this? 180% increased risk of developing depressive disorders. Like 180%. Then it gets worse. An 84% increased risk of type 2 diabetes and a 40% increased risk of hypertension. So physical impacts on your body and on your health. Fact.
God, there was a girl actually in my class and she got diabetes. Wonder if it's anything to do with stress and work, burnout. Probably is. She's got 3 kids and like a busy life. It probably was. But anyway, she lost 85 pounds and she looks great. She's now not diabetic anymore. And she done it in a year.
Does she take more breaks? Could we get in touch with her and ask her?
I'll ask her. I'm all about taking a break. I'm all about taking a break. You know, even with you guys, I'm like, can this be pushed to next week? Like, do you need to do this now? You know?
Well, I'm not going to read out all of them, but those ones were particularly relevant because it's an actual impact on your health, and those are high percentages. But another one was that 68% of people stated they were more positive after returning from a vacation. So, okay, let's get our health in order, but also be more positive and reflect when we get back. Do I seem more positive now that I've had my 1 week break?
Definitely. But just a disclaimer on the podcast, I'm all for pushing jobs and taking breaks. And like even Daniel said to me last week, he put on one of his end of days call with you. And I was like, why did you ring Sharon? I was like, what the hell are you ringing her for? She's off. Like, don't contact her at all. And I don't know if that was you or him or what. I didn't even get into it. But rewind like 4 years. What was I like? Even like 6 years, 8 years. I had no concept of 5 o'clock in the evening or Sunday, or I was so under pressure at all times with all the clients and wanted to deliver. I was a fucking nightmare. Like, really.
Well, that's the thing. Well, you weren't too bad with me, but you were definitely bad with other people because I'd obviously learnt my lessons in my previous jobs, you know, and then I was quite strict with what I kind of wanted out of my next jobs or when I was working for yous. And I just think I learnt that if you give an inch, unfortunately, people will take a mile, you know?
Yeah. But I think even whenever you did come, you were way more. I think I've actually pulled back from being like, I've made you even pull back further.
What do you mean?
You know, because there's times whenever I see you checking an email or replying to an email when you're on holidays, I crack up. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't do that. And you're like, no, it's grand. I was just having a drink and I wanted to just keep on top of it. Like, don't, you know? So I think that like you taught me a lot in like boundaries within staff, which I appreciated. And then I think I've actually really got into that. Like, I don't like anybody messaging. Like, if someone's in a different time zone, don't have it where I don't mind getting messages. I really don't mind. I'd rather have them all in the morning so I can just go through them before I get anybody on the phone. But if someone else is outside a time zone, I try not to message outside so that they're waking up to something like bang. I know I did with you today because it's your first day back after a week, but I try not to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
But some people...
because I do think
Oh, yeah.
I do think having boundaries, and if you're out there and you work for somebody, you know, set your boundaries in place. And if your employer and your boss does respect the work that you do and respects you, then they will abide to them.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, obviously, we're quite lucky because, we're able to communicate, what works for both of us. And
Yeah.
obviously, if there's something needs done, I'm going to go and do it. And that. So then, that removes a bit of the
Yeah.
stresses that you would have had thinking, is that done, or are we on top of this, or what's going on there, And
Yeah.
so we're quite fortunate that we've worked that all out. And the people on our team as well, then, as long as we get, an end of day, then nobody needs to know anymore. And that's it.
That's it. Do you know, the Sharon also implemented end of day reports, right? Where for everybody in the team does, and it's great. I don't even have to speak to anybody
ever again.
I don't read them often, but like if I do need to know something about a specific job, I can just jump in. But talking about, or sorry, you going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, a lot more you see it these days. Like, it used to be where companies, you would have had to just work every hour under the sun, and that was you. That was like seen as you being the best worker, when really now studies have proven that, you can kind of work more productively in less hours. So loads of the big companies do that 4-day week, because actually you don't need to be working that long to get that done. But there's still a lot of companies out there that are kind of in their old school thinking, where however many hours you're sitting at that desk or on that phone is actually a reflection of, your work. But that's not the case.
No, I've seen, like, especially web developers, one web developer can get more done in one day than some other developers can get done in a week. I've seen it where, I think you can get, if you're way more productive. I can get more done in a couple of phone calls than people can get done in a month.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel. So the thing is, it's not about that at all, and I don't think people should be paid per accordance to that, unless it is like a per hour job. It's completely different. But aside from like just having boundaries around your own work within right now, if I look back at the breaks that I have took, in my early 20s, I went to Australia for a year, and then I went to Malaysia and Thailand and stuff after that, and stayed out for flipping ages,
Yeah.
So that was like a real break. I was like, okay, because I had been buying houses and working non-stop, and that was a real shift. Give me time to think. Do I want to do that? What do I want to do? What do I need to do? And then whenever I lost all my jobs, my houses, and went bust, for 2 years, I was on unemployment. And although I had like no money whatsoever, and it was amazing because I didn't have to get up and be anywhere or do anything, and it gave me time to think and plan out my future exactly how I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
So I've took like really extended breaks. I'm not suggesting that, and I don't think everybody needs to or has the capability of doing that. But if you can, definitely do it. I'm back into like another extended break because I'm back out in California and I'm in a different time zone.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, it's not just about work. It's a break from anything that's maybe, because, for example, you could be in a situation with like a group of friends or family that's just really winding you up, and you're just in it. So just like take a minute, take a break, like, like a mindfulness break, not just vacations, just to kind of reset and think, right, okay, what's happening here? What's going on? Like, how did we get here? How do I get out of this? What's making me feel good? What's making me feel bad? Like, there's so many different breaks. Like, even me, I'm at my computer all day, pretty much when I'm working. We know about my 700 steps in a day. So it's like movement breaks is another thing, that I have to work on to like get my body moving and, and release all those kind of other endorphins that you get whenever you're moving, or you're getting fresh air, you're getting sunlight, or, like, we don't really think about taking a break. The only time we think about a break probably is if we think we're going on holiday, when really we can introduce breaks into like every element of our life, because work is one thing, but so is family, so is the stresses of finances, so is just work-life balance. There's a lot to kind of like think about, and we just get on with it.
Yeah, that's why I used to love swimming. I don't swim as much now. I would love. There's a pool in my complex, but it's not a swimming pool. There was another place that I was considering moving to, and it has like a full sort of spa resort, and I would love it because it's got a full pool for getting in swimming. once you get into the water, you've no phone, you've no earpods, you've no sound. You're only like swimming up and down with your own thoughts. And I love that. Like my dad still does it like every day, you know, gets in and swims. And I think it's great. My thing for like taking a break is like, I don't really need to take a break from work. I absolutely love my job. But whenever I'm back in Ireland, for example, like if I'm meeting with friends or meeting with people, like if they're telling me what's going on with them, like the first instinct that I have is like, how can I help?
Yeah.
And often I do try to help, and you know, I need to stop doing that because it's like weighing on me. Then I'm taking on things that, number one, have nothing to do with me whatsoever, and number two, you know, I can't fix them.
Yeah.
Really, if I think about it. So I'm taking on all this emotion and trying to like help with other people, whereas like that's where I need my breaks from.
Do you know?
Because are going ahead.
Oh, no, sorry,
Because I just, you know, you do take it on and you try to sort of help. So it's being aware of like what you know that you need a break from.
Yeah, because that leads into what I was going to say. So when I started wearing the Apple Watch again, you know, because I was like, sake, Sharon, you need to move. It now brings up this thing, like, and it must activate if you're a bit stressed or something. Like it'll tell you, it pops up and it says, like, don't forget to breathe, and then you tap on it and you have to breathe in and you have to breathe out. So there's certain points in my day, it's not like one thing that's causing it, but basically I'm not even aware that there's changes in, you know, what's going on internally. Then my watch told me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, right enough. So then I'm like, right, okay. So then I do the wee breathing exercise on it, and then you feel a wee bit calmer. And then I was like, right, now you have to go out for a quick walk and then come back. But I wouldn't be aware of all of that because you would just get on and do it. But that watch is telling me.
That's. Oh, the thing is, I was talking about this the other day, and my mate said, you know, do you have any like nice watches or anything? Do you wear like a Rolex? And I was like, no. Where's like, I don't wear. Number one, I don't wear any jewelry. I was like, I wear my Apple Watch because it keeps me alive. I was like, that's it. I was like, it's absolutely practical. I said, I have no desire to drive a Lamborghini, have a Rolex. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Those are things that do not excite me. I don't have any of that buzz around those. But I absolutely love my watch. I got this notification whenever I came back out to LA. I'd been here, I think, for like, I don't know, 18 days or whatever it was. And it sent me a photograph of a graph and was like, your resting heart rate has dropped considerably. My resting heart rate back whenever I was in Northern Ireland was in the 80s, right? It's now in the 60s. It's back into the 60s again. So I'm feeling really good about that.
Here, let's do a thing.
About being back.
Let's do a thing now and see whose heart rate's what, right? Let's do it.
Well, do you know what your resting is right now?
I'm just measuring it now.
Oh, shit.
What's yours? Tell the truth.
You say first.
74.
75?
Ah,
oh my God,
twins.
we're the same. We're actually twinning. We're twinning with our hair as well. I'm actually going for a new restyle on my hair this week.
I'm excited to see it.
I'm getting it all cut off. I'm going to get it shaved off. I'm doing a Britney Spears moment.
Nice.
I'm so sick of it. Do you know whenever you just need like a change?
Mm-hmm. A pampering day.
So I'm going to give it a bash and, well, it's in the barber for half an hour. And the problem is with me is most barbers would be like, I don't think you should. They try to talk you out of it. I'm like, no, put some consideration in. Let's get it off. It won't be shaved off, but I want to get it cut short. I'm just, you know.
Although you're going to be where I am then in a few months' time when you're over the short, and I'm trying to grow it out and it's a nightmare.
I know, well, it'll be back in no time. My hair grows fast. But jumping back into taking a break, it's about knowing what you need to take a break from. And knowing that sometimes if, you know, you're just being really, really honest with yourself and actually just if something in your gut is telling you that it's not right, listen to it, you know, or if something in your body is telling you like something's not right, listen to that as well.
And it's also like, you know, that whole thing whenever, say something happens and your immediate reaction, if it's, you know, if it's like wound you up or if it's annoyed you or hurt you or whatever, you know, we all just jump in and just go straight away with what we want to say. And sometimes if, like, I'm thinking about emails, you know, if like someone's really wound me up And immediately if I get it, I'm like wanting to say something back, and it's very rare because all of our clients are lovely, but there's been one or two. Whenever then what you want to say, and then whenever you take a break from it and then just pause a moment, reflect, have a cup of tea, whatever it is you're doing, you go back with a completely different attitude, So that break served its purpose there because it allowed me to kind of relax, refresh, and then go back with a clearer mind than the initial reaction that, well, I would never send anyway because I'm too professional.
I think in work, I think that's really, really good. You have to say, okay, it's professional for me not to jump in here and say what you want. But there's a thing that I've been doing the past couple of years. I've been listening to people what they say when they're angry, right? Because there's truth in it. And I've been listening to my first gut reaction. Mm-hmm. Those are two things that I've started to listen to way more, and I swear to God, I'm actually really happy that I have been, because I think we can just fall into a situation where you overlook things or you go against what your gut feeling's saying, and I do not think it serves you. I think that sometimes you have to take a break from work, from clients, from family, friends, whatever that may be. I think that you got to really start to listen to your body and listen to your mind, because if you don't, you're going to be constantly just getting chipped away at to the point where you just like fly off the handle. And I've been prone to do that before as well in the past, but I don't want to leave my relationships to get to that point where I'd rather just, I think, having that open communication, as we talked about before, like you and I talk about all the time. Our open conversations are flipping crazy. We talk probably more openly about things, and especially with Daniel, my business partner as well, like how open we talk about stuff is fucking insane.
Yeah.
People like, I was telling yesterday in like my stand-up class, I was actually talking a bit about you, and I was talking about how I communicate, and one of the girls was like, do you really say that to somebody? And I was like, yeah, they're not getting offended because I'm being honest. And she was saying, how do you do that? Because she'd just turned 40, and she was saying that anyway, it doesn't matter. But she was just saying about having that open communication line, because if the relationship's meant to last, the person's meant to be there, they will be able to communicate with you. If it's not, and it's not talking to a blank wall, then you gotta really listen to that. You gotta listen to it, because if you don't, you're just going to find yourself in a place where you hit burnout. Exactly what you said. Before you know it, you've got diabetes
and hypertension.
Hypertension, yeah.
But this is the thing,
depression.
like you literally need.
But you will get depression. I'm telling you now. If you don't listen to your body and your gut and take the breaks and you will end up getting depression.
You need a break from every element of your life. You need a break from work, so that's why I went away skiing. You need a break from your partner. So yes, I could work from home all the time, but that would be insane because Rich and I would never have a break from each other. So. Into the office you go, because obviously all I need is my laptop. Family, you need a break from them. I don't live with my family, but if I did, I'd go crazy. And if you're a parent, who has kids, like you need a break. You're not just a mom, you're not just a dad. You need a break to be able to do the things that you want to do. And also, like there's loads of different breaks. So there's like the movement breaks we talked about. There's just chill out and relax breaks. There's vacations, but those ones where you're just chilling out and relaxing. So that could be just listening to music, or it could be just switching on Netflix or whatever it is that you do to chill. People feel bad about that. They feel guilty, because they're like, I've just sat my ass. Well, that's okay. You're allowed to.
Yeah.
Like, don't feel guilt over taking a break either, because I think a lot of people do that. If I am wrecked and I just really want to chill and the sun's out, I'm like, I can't sit here and chill. That's like, I'm wasting my life. That's terrible. But like, that's stupid.
Yeah, no, it's like yesterday I needed one of those. Like I had one on Saturday. I did not move on Saturday. I ended up watching Netflix all day. Like, actually, do you know what I watched? That TV show Fool Me Once with Michelle Keegan.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
She is so beautiful.
She's
stunning. Like not normal.
Stunning.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. And then I watched this other one called Can I Tell You a Secret? It's like a Louis Theroux, I think, documentary. It's about this stalker. And then I watched this other thing. End up watching a lot of series, and then I realized that I still had a login to Hulu, which I forgot that I even had. I just tried it by accident last night, and I ended up watching this other like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills thing. I'm like, what am I doing? But I woke up today feeling really revived. Like, I just do that for one day every now and again, and just watch so much crap, guilt free, and like eat popcorn, ice cream, like whatever it is, and then just get up the next morning, go to the gym, and then get back to work.
Yeah.
But I was meant to actually spend on Saturday writing out all my stuff for my class on Sunday, and I swear to God, I did not write one single word.
And you didn't feel bad, or did you feel bad?
It was in the back of my mind, and it was stressing me out a wee bit, but it still didn't do it.
Yeah.
I was like, I need to just like be on the sofa and just be so lazy.
I think,
and just watch this crap.
I can't wait to do that, because obviously I've been away. We were away with a group of 9 people, and they were all amazing. But then you don't really get, any time to kind of just do your own thing and chill out the way that you want to. But I did kind of, because we had all different levels of like skiing capabilities, we were all in different groups, and we were all sharing apartments. So if I wasn't with them, I was in my lessons with somebody else, with another group of people. And then there was a point whenever I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to take myself off and just have a wee beer and just sit by myself and just chill for a wee minute. And it was amazing.
And every time I kept getting like a missed call from you randomly, and I was on a call with a client. I'm like, fuck, I need to answer this. And then you were like voicemail me. I just took myself off for a beer, just ringing for a catch up, because outside like work as well, like we're actually friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So most of our stuff is catching up. We very rarely talk about work. So I kept missing your call, but yeah, no, I think that's good. Even whenever I went to Ibiza last year, there was a big crowd of us, and I just kept like, everybody was out and about like 2:30 in the morning or 3. I was like, hey, I'm out of here. And I just spent like probably an hour after the club, because I was so wired, because I've been drinking like Red Bull or something, just like on my phone watching YouTube shorts, and just like having just silence in the hotel room, and just like, doing normal stuff, because from that morning, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, you're just with people all the time.
This is why, like, I think for parents, it must be so hard to try and get a break, because you're obviously working, and then you've got the kids, and then, so even, and then you're probably prepping everything, for the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even need to be like something huge, but you should always just try and make at least half an hour for yourself every day to do something that you enjoy and you love doing, because there is a way to get at least 30 minutes out of the day. And if you're my brother, who has 2 kids, a third one on the way, he seems to find time to always do what he wants.
I know. I think we need to have a lot more compassion for the women here. I would say that once the children are able to be up and like walking around where they're not toddlers, probably the only free space you would get is probably in the bathroom.
I know.
Like if you think about it, like in your house, because like it would, I know, like
they're knocking on the door.
I don't know.
That's what my friends say. Who even in the bathroom, they're just knocking on the door. But yeah.
Oh God.
I
made.
Oh yeah.
I made a choice like 20 years ago that I did not want to have any kids, and I'm still okay with it. I've been questioned a couple of times on saying, do you not think you're gonna like it whenever you're older? And I was like, or dislike it when you miss it when you're older? And I was like, I really don't think so.
Do you not remember though, there was like about 3 months one year where you were going to have a kid?
I actually thought about then was like, I'm going to revisit it. I was like, do you want to, because I think it had that conversation that I still remembered. Somebody had said to me, Matthew, do you not think whenever you're older, like it'll really, and I was like, I really don't think so. But I couldn't be sure. So I was like, okay, let's actually think about it. And then I did weigh it up. I was like, okay, do I want to have kids? And then I came to the same conclusion. I don't think I would have the patience.
Yeah.
And then I would also probably be trying to be really controlling to make sure that they're safe, and it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be a good experience for them.
Fair play to all the parents out there. As we always say, we're not those people.
I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do it. It's crazy.
They more than anybody need the breaks, because I don't know. I couldn't do it full time. Not a chance. I'm too selfish, I think.
Are you selfish? Are you actually being not selfish by not having them? Because some people shouldn't have children.
We'll go not selfish because it's more positive. reflection of who I am as a person.
I think I'm being like really unselfish by not having children because I'm not meant to have them, you know.
But yeah, I think.
So that's sort of.
Oh.
Anything else we need to talk about on this?
Well, I just wanted to say that, you know, when we touched on it at the start, and especially if it's something that's, you know, work related, like, and you don't have that balance and you can't get that balance in your job. I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, there is a shift happening now, and there are jobs out there where, you know, there is an ability to have a better balance, and they appreciate the fact and the need for breaks, and in the end you're more productive, you know. So I just think that if anybody's out there and kind of not in that position with where they are, it might be worth starting to look somewhere else. And when you do, stick to your guns on it. You know, if you come across a new role where, you know, that's the reason, part of the reason you left was for the kind of work-life balance, is you know, don't give them an inch, because there's a lot of people out there, like I say, will just take it further. Yeah. So, and also then you're setting yourself the wrong boundaries too. You know, you're not setting yourself time to have a better, like, work-life balance or resting period or break or whatever it might be, you know. So it's kind of on us as well. It's not just on business.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all on us. It's all on you. Have to take responsibility for the situation you got yourself into. Yeah. You know, it's all on you. It's all on me. It's all on you at home. I know two people, just if you are going to change a career, by the way, and you're not going to do Life's a Beach and start your own business, even though you should have a side hustle. If you are going to leave your job, I know two people in the past couple of years, two really good friends of mine, they left their job because they didn't want to accept it anymore. They were like, I'm done with this. I'm not accepting this anymore. Then they went to other jobs where they had this really high expectation of what it was going to be like, so different, but it was at such a different pace than what they were used to before. They didn't really settle in, and then they got their forever job. Yeah. So there was like a job that they didn't like, then there was a job that they got, but they still didn't like it, and they felt so bad. They felt so guilty because they were like, oh my God, I've left this other job. People's going to think that I'm not, it's me, you know, I'm just the problem. But they persevered, actually 3 people, and then they got another job, and now they're really, really happy in the other job because they've been like, okay, they're eliminating what they don't want. Yeah. Do you know? And then they're finding themselves in a place of figuring out what it is they do want. And the thing is, if you are not, like you said earlier, you have to be aware of it. That's kind of the first step. So if you're never aware of, and we're not just talking about a vacation. So if you don't have a break in the day, then you're never going to have a break in the day if you're not aware of it. So if you're not getting a break in the day, note that down now and add in either a movement break, a relaxing break, you know, a recharge break where you have a cup of coffee and just chill by yourself. Go for a swim. Yeah. Something like that. And walk. You're going to notice the difference, you know, whenever you start to introduce that. And that you just then follow that trait, and 100% you're going to be more productive. You're going to be less stressed, you're going to have more energy, you're going to feel a bit happier, and apparently you're not going to get diabetes. Or depressed. Yeah. Well, the thing is, this is another thing that's going to rock your world. Monday blues are not meant to be a thing. Monday blues are not. They're not meant to. You're not meant to have Monday blues. I haven't had them in over 12 years. And I used to get them every single Sunday. Yeah. Like the Monday, my gut was like, telling me, Matthew, change your life. Stop doing this to yourself. But I didn't listen. I just thought it was normal. It's not normal. You're not meant to have Monday blues. You're not meant to be freaked out on a Sunday about getting up on the Monday morning to go into work. And that's just that. Yeah. You're not meant to. And if you are, then there's something wrong. So that was a real aggressive end. Sorry. Because you want to know what? I was so annoyed at myself for not listening to it for years. I started being a refrigeration engineer at 16, right? And I stopped at 29. That's 13 years working as a refrigeration engineer. Yeah. 13 years of my life. I'm raging at myself. Yeah. Sometimes. But I get over it. But he took a break. He figured it out. And now he doesn't have to do that ever again. He never gets Monday blues. I did take a break in the middle of it and went travelling. I know I'm very grateful for all the lessons and the mistakes and stuff. But no, it's all good. Yeah. So we will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And again, anything you need from us, please do let us know.
Thank you. Bye.